And welcome back, everyone. Well, regular maintenance helps you avoid more costly car repairs down the road, but you don't want to waste your money on unnecessary work.
No, and you know this guy right here. This is Jim Garnan and from NARPro, and you're here to help us save money because that's what this is all about, because we all know that cars can be expensive.
And there's a lot of myths out there, correct?
Yes, there are. I mean, people know that you're supposed to change your oil every 3 months, 3,000 miles, and they're wrong. And the newer cars, the oil change intervals have been stretched to almost 10,000 miles for normal driving conditions. Of course, Phoenix, Arizona is a severe condition. Usually it'll show you a lower interval. It could be like 4,000 miles or whatever, but your owner's manual will tell you how often you should change the oil in your car. And that's using the oil they designed for the car. A lot of people will upsell you into synthetic oil. Oh, the synthetic is better. It is better oil. But I'd rather see you use less money on conventional oil or whatever was designed for your car and change it often than buy really expensive oil and overdrive the interval.
How do you find out how long you can go on your car? Will it be in your manual? Do you ask your mechanic, or how do you find out?
Both is a good idea, because the manual tells you what the car was designed for, and the mechanic, once you have a relationship with one mechanic, he can tell what's going on with your car and the way you drive it. Some of the time you can go a longer interval. Some of the time it might be a little shorter.
Do you think a lot of people out there know you don't have to do that, 2003? Because you know what, I'm one of those people who would have just thought, you think, I got to go in, it's been 2,000 or 3,000 miles. You don't even think about how things have changed.
I don't think many people, even a lot of people in the industry, know every car. It's getting to know your car and how you drive it that's important. And
there's a lot of other things that you'll go in and then they'll tell you need to do this. Let's talk about chassis lubing. What's that all about?
Well, back in the day, a car would have joints, and the moving joints all had grease. So you had zerks around the car, these little metal fittings that a grease gun would attach to. Almost no car design today has those on them. But a professional mechanic will go through the car and see if there are any on your vehicle. The reason why is aftermarket components, like say somebody's replaced the ball joint, that new ball joint could have a grease zerk on it. And if someone just says the car doesn't have any, they could be wrong. So it's a good idea when you're under there changing the oil to look for anywhere. They go around with a grease gun and fill them up.
All right.
So I feel like every time you go either get an oil change or anything, there's always a lot of talk about filters. You need a new filter for this, you need a new filter for that. So you have a couple filters here with you right now.
Well, we live in a very dirty environment, so the filters get dirty fast. And every time you get serviced, it's a good idea for them to take a look at it. And they look at it to inspect how much debris is in it. The old idea used to be, can I see light through the filter? And that works great until you go to a newer filter where they carbon impregnate it and you can't see light through.
Because this looks dirty to me.
Yeah, that looks filthy.
This isn't dirty though?
That is a brand new filter.
So this is a brand, it doesn't feel dirty, but just because I guess the dark coloring in it makes it look like it's dirty already.
And what's the trick to really tell if it is dirty?
If you look down in the crevices, in between the pleats of the filter, you'll see where the dirt builds up. And another thing you can do is just take the filter and drop it on a surface. And when it leaves debris all over the place, you know that it would. And that's not the way to clean the filter. You don't go, oh, now I can put it back in. It just tells you that filter's already done its work.
And then when we're kind of talking about flushing, they're always like, you got to flush this, you got to flush that. And a lot of times they say, do the coolant flush with every oil change. But you're saying not necessarily, right?
Well, coolant is one of the great chemicals that we can actually test. We can test it for level of protection, pH balance, and electrolysis and tell whether that coolant is good or bad. If you're changing it every time, you're definitely overdoing it, because coolant today should last at least a year in most applications. Some of them, like the Dexron or the original equipment, they say, oh, it'll go 10 years, 10,000 miles. And I'm sure it would if you left it in the jar in the trunk. Once it's getting used and there's air exposed to it, it should be tested regularly in order to know how it's going.
Awesome.
And this one, I know a lot of people swear by. I have friends who say, oh, I have to put premium gas in my car. I have to use the better stuff because it's my car. And that isn't always true. And I've seen this other place. I've learned this before, but not every car premium gas is good for it, correct?
No, actually, premium only applies to very few vehicles anymore that require high octane in order to burn the combustion properly. If you even go to the gas stations websites, they'll tell you most vehicles use regular gasoline. Regular used to mean leaded. Regular now means the lowest grade unleaded. Still want to use a premium brand of fuel. You don't want to buy the cheapest stuff you can find, but in all the major manufacturers, the lowest brand will usually be fine for your vehicle.
Is there an example of a car that would need premium gas, can you think of?
Most of the ones that are kind of race applications, fairly rare, not things that you would buy at the local car dealer. It's high compression, things that have been modified even.
Okay, so modified,
require-
like maybe a racing car, somebody wants to go really fast, so they have some things on their car like that.
If it does require it, if it's like General Motors had some vehicles that required it, it's on the gas cap, it's on the fuel, it's everywhere on the vehicle that tells you you have to use premium. Use premium.
So if you're driving a Honda Civic out there, you probably don't need premium gas, maybe?
I haven't
Unless
seen.
it's-
I haven't seen one that needs premium, but I actually knew a Honda Civic that needed airline fuel because the compression was so high.
Oh, really? Okay, well,
It
I
was
won't
thought that was your
majorly
car.
modified.
I will not be using I don't need that car. And this is something that, you know, a lot of people say, I got to go to the dealership. You know, you have a car,
Yeah.
you know, like a Volkswagen,
Yeah.
and he's got a Volkswagen, I've got a Mini, and I take it there when you have the warranty, but after that, I'm pretty
Yeah,
much
because
done.
they almost tell you that, oh, you got to get it done here for the warranty to be valid, but that's not true, right?
Absolutely not true. You can go. You can do it in your own driveway. There's no requirement for it to be done at the dealer, but keep good records and do not exceed the manufacturer's interval. If they said that it's 4,000 miles, change your oil every 4,000 miles.
So really it's just keep good records and check your manual. Just don't go off what someone's telling you and find it. It's so hard sometimes to find a good mechanic and when you trust like you. So just check everything in your car.
Yeah, and if you go to a mechanic, like the NARPRO shops, we all use computers and we all have your records on. So if you need, hey, when was this done? Or you need to prove to somebody that it was done, even if you're selling the car, you can go, look, this car is properly maintained and it helps your value.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Perfect.
Lots of good information. I learned some new stuff today, so thank
Always.
you so much. And coming up, well, you have a live event today, right?
Yeah,
Tell me where you're going to be later today.
Actually have a couple things going on. One is for spina bifida. It's the walk and roll, and that's at Indian School Park, at Indian School in Central. And then we're also at Local First, which is over at Margaret Hans Park.
So if you have any questions, they'll be there, and he can help you guys out. Help
Thank
me
you
out
so
today.
much.